Maiya, for those of you that don't know me. And, okay, so what I was told when Ty Blue called me, he said, Maiya, you know how Ty talks. Maiya, darling. I want you to just come and I want you to tell a story, but the story of you. That's exactly what he said. So I was like, okay, what the fuck is the story of me? I'm a black chick who sings. I don't really know. So the first song was by Earth, Wind & Fire, right? And so I put that as the first song because the story of me begins with Earth, Wind & Fire. My uncle was a really famous costume designer who did costumes for these two groups, Earth, Wind & Fire and the Commodores. And my mom got hired to background sing for Earth, Wind & Fire. And my dad got hired to play horns for the Commodores. And they were on a double bill, and thus begat the genetic cocktail of this movie. So I obviously didn't have a very conventional upbringing. My mom is amazing, and if you know me, you always know that I say my mom is amazing. But very few people know about my father. I didn't meet my father until I was about 9. And he wasn't a conventional person, and I didn't really get that until I was much older. And one of the things that really sticks out to me about my father being my father comes with this next song. When I was 15, I was asked to sing in a jazz competition, and I was like, what is jazz? And then there was a section that said you have to do vocal improvisation. It's called scatting, and I was like, what the hell is that? So I called my dad, who's a horn player, and I said, Dad, I'm supposed to do something called scatting. What is that, and how do I do it? And my dad said, okay, these are some horn players I want you to go find. And I want you to memorize their solos. And I was like, what do you mean memorize them? He was like, memorize them. And so he would quiz me on the phone. And one of the first solos I memorized was from this song, and it was by Charlie Parker. And my dad said, go for Charlie Parker because he makes the most melodic choices that sound right for voice. And it took me years to realize, but that's how my father raised me. That was his input into my life, and that changed the course of my life. So I did what he said, and I won. And I won a $5,000 scholarship that I got to use for college. So thank you. Let's see. Star eyes, that to me is what eyes are. Softest stars in April skies are. Tell me someday they'll fulfill the love of a thrill of old star eyes. Flashing eyes in which my hopes rise. Well, let me show you where my heart lies. Let me prove that they adore the loveliness of yours. All my life I've been content to stargaze at the skies, and now I only want to melt the stardust that's in your eyes. Oh, star eyes. When if ever will my lips know if that is me for whom those eyes glow. Makes no difference where you are, your eyes still hold my reaching sky. Oh, my star eyes, how blasting you are. If Hollywood ever did a remake of Oklahoma, oh, wouldn't you be tickled to be charmed by the farm? That could be an opportunity for you to hang around Hallelujah. Oh, wouldn't you like to tell a good show and hang around the lot when everyone is leaving after one of the guards to let you in? Maybe you could win a favor. You got to beg for it. You might have to everyone will leave you alone if they know that you belong. No one will ever know. Well, don't forget to find an agent. Try looking up any old acquaintance you happen to meet. What about cards and a picture? You've got to have a picture. Real star stuff. Real sweet. A lot of people never win an Oscar, but that will never bother you. And it is a winner of the day in a Lincoln Continental. Your car will shine above any other. Quit pretending you can be a prima donna when you're really just another girl that no one will ever know. Take it back home and get married. Haven't you always wanted to be married? We'll make up the picture. You pretend like you're in a hole.
Da 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 da.
East, and I was back East for a little while, and then I went to England because I won a fellowship, and I studied over there for a little while. And I came back, and of course I needed a job. So the first job that I got, I had like maybe 6 jobs at the same time. I was kind of like that hustling chick. I was like a makeup artist during the day, and then a masseuse, and then a waitress, and then a paralegal. I did a lot of stuff. So one of the jobs I had was, I had a job singing at funerals for a company that is not Forest Lawn, because I ain't got money like that. So at Not Forest Lawn, where I worked, you are responsible for knowing about 100, 150 songs, right? And if you were bereaved but did not have someone who could sing Amazing Grace at your Nana's funeral, you could hire me. So we would get our selections, and if there was a specialty song that the person really wanted or the family requested, they'd send you the sheet music and you'd have to learn that, but it meant a bump up of $200 in your check, so you hope that you got specialty songs. So one day, while working for Not Forest Lawn, I got the fax of this gentleman named Anthony who had passed away. And the song that he requested I found to be very unusual and kind of inappropriate, but who am I to judge? The dude was dead. So I learned the song, and I was told to show up at Not Forest Lawn at 9 a.m. to work with the organist, who was a 65-year-old gay dude named David. And the only reason why I knew he was gay was that he had a rainbow flag stud in his ear, but he was real prim and proper looking. It was great. So David and I were set to work, and I showed up, okay. And it was in Not Forest Lawn's big chapel where Anthony was having a service. And I walk in, 9 a.m. with my Starbucks. And there are dozens of people setting up stuff that looks wrong, like it just looked wrong. So they had cleared where the altar was, and there's this huge picture of Jesus in that chapel. And underneath it, they had a table that they had covered with velvet cloth, and they had 10 dildos on a table. It turns out that Anthony was a top porn star for this really well-known adult entertainment company, and he was also their top dildo salesman. He was their top dildo model, and so he had sold record numbers of dildos for this company. So I come in, there's David sitting here, a huge picture of Jesus, 10 dildos, and the dead dude right here. And I was like, there is not enough coffee in earth that can prepare me for a moment like this. So the plan was, I was supposed to sing Amazing Grace. They were supposed to have remembrances of Anthony and his friends. And then I was supposed to sing this next song. So, okay, this guy is a top porn star. So the remembrances sounded hilarious. This one lady came up and she says, I starred in Alien Slut 7 with Anthony, and he was just a consummate professional, and I'm just gonna miss him so much because he made my first anal scene so pleasant. And there's just not enough coffee in the world that can prep you to hear this. And so this went on for like 30 minutes, and everybody's remembrance was just more ridiculous than the next person. And then I had to get up and sing the song. Now, look, you don't expect to learn no life lessons at a porn star's funeral. You just don't. But what I took away from this moment was that this man touched hundreds of people. If you will, and I will. But there were 1,000 people at this man's funeral. Like, there were people lined up outside trying to listen to the funeral. And everybody spoke with so much love about this person. He really did affect people's lives in the most positive way. So the thing that I took away from that is that if you do whatever it is you do with love, you will always change people. So to Anthony,